My sister lifted her wine glass, looked directly at me, and smiled, not a normal smile either. The kind that warned you something cruel was coming. Then she said it. So, where's your husband and kids, Emma? The room got quiet, and before I could answer, she laughed. Oh right, you don't have any. I froze. But the worst part, my parents burst out laughing too. My own mother nearly spit out her drink. And my father actually slapped the table like it was the funniest joke he'd ever heard. Meanwhile, 14 people sat around that anniversary dinner pretending not to stare at me. I remember gripping my fork so hard my hand hurt, because nobody there knew the truth. Nobody knew who had really been paying for that house. Nobody knew who secretly covered my parents' debts, and absolutely nobody knew what my sister's husband had been doing behind her back for the last 11 months. But then, my sister decided to humiliate me one more time in front of everyone, and that's when everything changed. I'm 38 years old, single, and no kids, and according to my family, that made me a failure. My younger sister Claire, though, she was the golden child. Married at 26. 2 kids by 30. Big suburban house. Perfect Instagram family. At least, that's what everyone believed. Growing up, Claire could do no wrong. If she broke something, I got blamed. If she insulted me, I was told to stop being sensitive. If I achieved something, my parents would immediately compare it to Claire somehow. I graduated top of my university class. My mother's response: "That's nice, but Claire's husband just bought her a Lexus." I wish I was making this up. Every conversation somehow became about her. Claire's vacations, Claire's kitchen remodel, Claire's children, Claire's marriage. Meanwhile, I became the family disappointment. Because I worked long hours, because I wasn't married, because I never had children. And honestly, after a while, I started believing them. I stopped dating seriously around 33. Not because I wanted to, but because every family gathering felt like psychological warfare. Still single, don't wait too long. You know men don't want older women. You'd better hurry if you want kids. Little comments, constantly. Death by 1,000 cuts. And Claire? She loved every second of it, especially when there was an audience. I should have stopped attending family events years ago, but I kept hoping things would change. That maybe one day my parents would actually see me. That maybe Claire would grow up. That maybe I'd finally matter. I was wrong. 3 years ago, my father called me crying, actually crying, saying they were about to lose a house. Apparently he'd made terrible investments and hidden the debt from everyone, including my mother. They needed almost $80,000 fast, or the bank would start foreclosure proceedings. I remember sitting in my apartment staring at my phone in silence, because the crazy part, Claire and her husband Ryan were doing very well financially back then. Huge house, luxury cars, private school for the kids, expensive vacations every few months. So naturally I asked, "Did you ask Claire?" Long silence. Then my father sighed. "She has kids to think about." I almost laughed, because apparently I didn't matter enough to protect financially, but I mattered enough to rescue them, and stupidly, I said yes. I drained almost everything. Savings, investment, accounts, emergency fund. Gone. But I made one condition. Nobody could know, especially Claire, because I didn't want her pretending to respect me just because I saved them. My father promised, and for a while, things got better. My parents stopped stressing. The foreclosure disappeared. Family dinners became calmer. But Claire still found ways to humiliate me. Actually, they got worse. One Thanksgiving, she brought one of Ryan's co-workers, a woman named Melissa. Beautiful. Recently divorced. And the second Melissa mentioned she was dating again, Claire looked directly at me. "You should help Emma." She laughed. "She's basically given up on men." Everyone chuckled. I forced a smile. Then Claire tilted her head dramatically. Actually, Emma, when was your last relationship? I froze, because I knew what she was doing. She wanted the room watching, waiting, judging. And honestly, I hadn't dated anyone seriously in years. Not after my last boyfriend admitted he felt intimidated by my career, not after hearing my own mother whisper that I was too independent for man. So I quietly said, a while ago. Claire smirked, oof, then she took a sip of wine and added, well, maybe motherhood just isn't for everyone. I swear the room physically shifted. That sentence hit me like a slap, because she knew. She knew I'd struggled with infertility years earlier. I'd only told my mother. Nobody else, or so I thought. I slowly turned toward Mom, and she couldn't even meet my eyes. That's when I realized she told Claire. I felt sick, actually sick. But then Claire smiled again, and somehow it got worse. At least you have your career, though, she said loudly, as long as you don't die alone surrounded by cats. The whole table laughed, even Ryan at least. He pretended to, but for a split second, I noticed something strange. He looked uncomfortable, like genuinely uncomfortable, and when Claire got up to refill drinks, Ryan quietly leaned toward me and whispered, I'm sorry. I frowned. For what? But before he could answer, Claire came back, and he immediately went silent. That should have been my first clue. Over the next year, things started unraveling. Not publicly. Not yet. But little cracks appeared. Claire became more aggressive, more bitter, more obsessed with appearances. She started posting fake happy family photos, constantly, paragraph captions about perfect love, blessed life, strong marriage. It was excessive, and honestly, it felt forced. Then one night, my mother accidentally slipped up during a phone call. Claire's just stressed lately, she muttered. I paused. Why? Silence. Then she sighed. Ryan's business hasn't been doing well. Interesting. Because according to Claire's social media, they were thriving. But then, a month later, Ryan called me at midnight. I almost didn't answer, and honestly, I wish I hadn't, because that phone call changed everything. He sounded drunk or exhausted. Maybe both. Emma, he whispered, I need to tell someone something. Immediately my stomach dropped. What happened? Long silence. Then he said, I can't do this anymore. I sat upright. Do what? Another silence. Then finally, pretend. I froze. And what he told me next completely shattered the image my family worshipped for years. Ryan had been miserable. Apparently Claire controlled everything: money, friends, his schedule, his clothes, even his relationship with their kids. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the cheating. Not hers, multiple affairs over years. I literally stopped breathing. What? She's been seeing someone from her gym, he said, quietly. For almost a year. I couldn't process it, because Claire constantly acted morally superior to everyone, especially me. Then Ryan laughed bitterly. You know what she says about you when you're not around. I already knew it wouldn't be good, but I still asked. What? He sighed. She says you're pathetic because no man ever stayed. That hurt more than I expected, even hearing it secondhand. Then Ryan whispered something that made my blood run cold. She's terrified of you. I blinked. What? She hates that you built your life alone. She needs validation from other people constantly. I didn't even know what to say. And honestly, part of me didn't believe him until he sent proof. Screenshots, photos, hotel receipts, messages, everything. I stared at my phone until almost 4 a.m. because suddenly, everything made sense. The constant mocking, the obsession with humiliating me, The need to make herself look superior. It wasn't confidence. It was insecurity, massive insecurity. And that's when everything changed, because for the first time in my life, I realized Claire needed me beneath her. 2 weeks later, my parents announced their 40th anniversary dinner. Big event. Extended family. Friends. Fancy restaurant. Private banquet room. And of course, Claire volunteered to organize everything. I should have known she was planning something. The second I walked in, I felt it. That weird tension. That fake politeness people use when gossip already happened before you arrived. Claire hugged me dramatically. "Oh my God, Emma. You came alone again?" There it was, already starting. I forced a smile. "Good to see you too." Then she whispered in my ear, "Try not to look depressed tonight." I should have left right there. But I didn't. Because honestly, I was tired of running. Dinner started normally enough. Speeches, champagne, family stories. Then Claire stood up, holding her wine glass, smiling. And suddenly I knew. I knew she was about to do something awful. "Before we celebrate, Mom and Dad," she announced, "I just want to say how grateful I am for family." People nodded politely. Then she looked at me, and how important it is to build one before it's too late. The room got awkward, fast, but Claire kept going. Some people focus too much on careers and end up alone. My mother laughed nervously. My father smirked into his drink, and I just sat there, heart pounding. Then Claire delivered the line, "So Emma, where's your husband and kids?" A few people looked away immediately.